This is a soul fire production.
No longer my walk on the cornfield. No longer my walk on the cotton field. I'm a master of my own mind. No longer can evil step to me. No longer you call me a slave. You have to for you better keep that in your reign. Me a stand as a free man. So massacre pass no blame. I free that 1,000 slaves, I could have free some more. But enough of them I never open up the door. Jaja make it clear, you are free, you are free, you are free to explore. Me make a stand for my people them. They have to see me wanna free all of them. Look and see the pages of the timeline. Slavery never end. And what we fighting for? Black against black, what we seeking for? We have to rise above the segregation and raise as a nation. You need to see it clear. Look the silver lining right, yeah. Jaja guide over us, yeah. Minty cry, Minty cry. Minty cry, Minty cry. She pray for evil to die. For freedom for you and I. Minty cry, Minty cry. Minty cry, Minty cry. She pray for evil to die. For freedom for you and I. Run away from our slavery. Unite we stand, they gonna fear our bravery. We have to stop fight each other down and stop killing souls of the nations. Never turn your back on this order. Never turn your back and run back to Massa. They better not to fail each other. Don't stop, keep going, taste of freedom. Fight for liberty, fight for the real ones. We call on Jaja to cover us. Here's our freedom. Here's our freedom. Jaja send us a freedom. Hey, we sing again. Minty cry, Minty cry. Minty cry, Minty cry. She pray for evil to die. For freedom for you and I. Minty cry, Minty cry. Minty cry, Minty cry. She pray for evil to die. For freedom for you and I. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey, we sing again. Minty cry, Minty cry. Minty cry, Minty cry. She pray for evil to die. For freedom for you and I.
nation like, let me send out all my credits. Big up to everybody who on the live. That is 1, 2. We want to say big up to the lights man, Pete, Tech, Dev, and where we at, Mr. Andy. All right, blessed love and light. We have our guest from last week. Kashi Wilson is in the house again. All right, welcome to We Don't Give a
Sip.
Nice, and we on the inside. So last week, Madam wasn't here, and
Yeah, guys, I know y'all miss me. I miss y'all too. So we're here on the inside. Please share the live and let's get talking.
nice. And tonight we're gonna be very much interesting. We're going off with a
Somebody's
part 2.
saying no audio.
No audio.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna keep talking and let us know when you're hearing us.
Well, let me check. Tell me if they're hearing us. I don't want
Kashif,
to.
say something on your mic. Let me see if they're hearing you. Like,
Check on your
just
mic.
test. Let me
My
see.
mic?
Yeah. All right.
Check
yeah,
1,
turn
2.
on
Are they hearing us? Hearing
Well,
us?
we
Hearing us?
hearing, but let me see if outside hearing.
It on? Right. Alright. So
All right, cool. So you're hearing us, guys? Send us a thumbs up.
yeah, Kalonji. Let we know.
It's up.
Okay, nice. So we good. Yeah. Right. So we up and we live right now. Okay, cool.
So we were just saying welcome.
So we were just saying welcome,
Mhm.
correct, is right? And our guest from last week, we have Kashif Wilson in the house. And as well as we were saying, I didn't see wifey last
Yes,
week.
and I'm here tonight.
she's here tonight.
Miss you guys, and
Nice.
yeah, let's get
So-
chatting.
The conversation that we have been having for a while now, we're talking about the orange economy, we're talking about the creative economy and how we could be able to build out a mainframe in Tobago that where the talent and the sectors could be sustainable, right? So we would have actually started with a conversation last week with myself and Kashif, and there are certain aspects that he would have highlighted in regards to our work ethics, our approach to time, even say when it comes to the shows, when it comes to rehearsals, when it comes to song check, when it comes to a lot of things. Now, there are some points before we get into the meat of the conversation, because I know we're going to be very much heated tonight, right? And I think I might have to turn up the AC a little bit more, right? So, there are, in building out I take some notes and so forth, in building out the framework, or the main frame, I should say, there are some core components in regards to the developing or creating orange economy. For those who do not know, or could do the research, or could Google right now, Google orange economy, you would see that it was created by some Colombians, right? So there are some different things, right? There are some different things that we can use. There are some components that we can use to build out the framework.
Right.
And there's one of which we're going to be concentrating on tonight, which is going to propel the conversation, or
Okay.
and so forth. So the list of the core components in dealing with building out the main frame, we have the policy and governance. I will not talk about the objectives nor the actions to be taken. Just basically the components
Right.
that exist, right? You have policy and governance, governance infrastructure. We have education and talent development. We have physical and digital infrastructure, financial ecosystem, market access and commercialization, commercialization, measurement and data systems, cultural identity and community building, right? And now cultural identity and community building is basically what we're going to be focusing on tonight, right? So we know in regards to where Tobago is concerned, we have raw talent. So where the product is concerned, the product exists on the island, right? We have the talent, we have the gifts on the island. It's just that we are not packaged in regards to exporting, the talent and exporting the product that we have on the island, right? Now we talk about creative, so there are a number of things that we need to look at. And one of the things that we want to focus on tonight, as we say, the cultural aspect, which is the cultural identity and community building, is the attitude.
Okay.
Our attitude towards what we have, our attitude when it comes to how we approach our own talent, our own gift, and how we could be able to now spill that over to the community where they could be able to then in turn support us.
Right.
Right? And I will give an example, and it's going to jump off the conversation. I'll look at take it where, but I want to take it from here. Right? And the example I'm going to give is basically when we want to venture into something, and let's say for instance I come up with an idea to venture in something, and I might have words with Kashif, and because I have words with Kashif, but I know Kashif could do the work, right? But then now you have somebody who may want to use Kashif, right? And because me and Kashif are words, I go and tell that person there, do work with Kashif.
Right.
Now this person have never worked with Kashif, but this person have the intention of working with Kashif. Right? But they want to use the link to get to Kashif because they can't get to Kashif straight. But I know Kashif. Right? So because me and Kashif the words, I telling the person, but nah, I don't work with T and that kind of stuff. So we have that existing. Now there are many more or look able to pull out and look pull it along the way, right? And could be based on their own experience and so forth. And say what it is and see how we could able to dissect it. Now we will come to a solution how we could able to stop and deal with these things because it's fair enough, not just to just name the problems, but at least come with a solution at the end of it. Right? So in all, in regards to that exam that I gave that exists within this space is basically, you know, how we then approach when those things happen.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Say welcome, Bego Hippie, and I'll see you coming on the inside. All right, I mean, there's so many things that we could say as it regards to the attitude of us as a people.
Yeah.
And how we operate and how we function on a daily basis. All of these things spill over into every aspect of our lives. So within the music industry and anything that we do, our work, our businesses, wherever we are, whether it's a home, whether it's a social, the attitude that we have, because our culture of our people is basically who we are. It says who we are. And if we are people, we are fighting down each other. If you have that kind of attitude, if you have a jealous kind of mindset, all of those things spill over into the whole music industry. So just as you laid out your scenario about people knowing, because Tobago is small, so everybody knew everybody. Even though you find out later on through some grapevine something, you realize that everybody knew everybody. Cousin, some in-law, some uncle of some auntie and brother, sister, great, all kind of family tree things started to come out. Right? So, with that said, people who you're in close communications with or who you grew up with and things, they would say, yeah, I know you, me and you good. But you see, when you want to go further than where they are, they have a problem with that. It's like, we're good. You could go, you know, I got support you there, but when you look like you're going and go a little further than where I am, that is when we're going to have a problem, because it's jealousy and it's who getting the more spotlights and whatever, and your giftings and your talents might not be in the same area. And I'm thinking that, okay, we all can work together to achieve the same goal. We have different aspects of the same industry that everybody could build in a separate way, but together build their own skill set, because yours will be different from mine. I don't play a guitar. I could sing, but we could build each other. We could grow together, and nobody watching, nobody, no kind of cookie kind of thing. That is the thing we have to get away from in the first place.
Well, well, for me, I always I was taught this on the outside when I just went outside.
Right.
First thing the guy told me, he was like, so we here now, and you are in charge of you.
Correct. Yeah. I remember I said that last week. Yeah.
You are in charge of you. Whatever situation, whatever you're going through, you are in charge of you and your emotions, your feelings. Right? So as I said last week again, it all have to do with the individual.
Yeah.
And doing introspection. Now, not everybody might realize, wait, I need to do introspection. But at some point in time in your life, you realize you're just 20 years past and you're the same way.
The same way, yeah.
You must, at some point in time.
Yeah, it's true.
You must at some point in time say, you know what? Let me do some introspection. I think I maybe have some issues. You know, and there are a lot of people with unresolved issues in this space.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's true.
And sometimes these some of the things we have to deal with. We have to deal with ourselves because
Mm-hmm.
in that example you just gave,
Yeah.
right? Now, if I am supposed to say, you know what, I'm not working with that fella because of what a man tell me,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I need to do introspection.
Yeah. Yeah.
The person
Yeah.
who I need to do, the person who telling me need to do introspection.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs
Everybody
to work
need to
on
do something on
themselves.
the themselves. Yeah, 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 it's true. I feel that.
So I am a firm believer that we are our own enemies
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
because we don't do introspection.
Mm-hmm.
know
Somebody
what I
saying there's a strong hum coming from the video feed. I mean, if there is all the channel rectify that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. No, no. Kalonji was asking the question: attitude as to the music or attitude as to how we treat each other. Doesn't it help whether negative? Doesn't it help whether negative or positive?
Or positive.
Or positive is that question you're asking.
As
Fuel for the music itself.
Mm-hmm.
No, I could understand the latter part of what you're talking about because in creating for the music, right? Whatever emotion that you may go through, call like for instance, I have a song that I would have wrote and I was angry when I wrote the song, right? And he may have talked, he might, and I kind of like hoping this is what he mean by attitude, right? And I was so angry in writing this song, I actually cursing the song. It's a nice reggae song, but cursing the song, right? Because I'm angry as to what was transpiring at the time and the moment. And it helped me create a good song, right? So whether you're angry or whether, whatever vibe you may get, internally, that is where basically how you're going to be able to create. But really and truly, Kalonji, what we're trying to focus on right now is that for us to build, the conversation that we're talking about is to be able to build a mainframe of Tobago creating their own orange economy. We have a situation whereby even the attitude, we're dealing with the attitude whereby because the US is doing it like this or the US market is doing like this, that means all you have to do it like this. If Jamaica, based on the orange economy, is doing it like this, well then all you need to do it like this. And we in Tobago always have to be pulling from somebody else. And when it comes to our own talent and our own gift, it is not being recognized. Guess why? Because we're copying from somebody else. So I'm saying, and what I'm not saying is that I have no problem in us borrowing some ideas for what is working in Jamaica. I have no problem is for some ideas that is working in Europe. I have no problem as to some ideas working in the US. But when it comes to our culture, and we talk about the topic with a design to culture, if you have to design a mainframe that's suited for Tobago, that says Tobago culture, that says Tobago tradition, and most of all that says Tobago voice, then you have to come from us. It had to be us. It had to be we. You understand? Because as I said before, the concept of the orange economy, which is really and truly the creative economy, was coined and created by some Colombians. I think their language is Spanish. Yeah. Their language is Spanish. So what do we do? Because they created the concept, then what? We tailored it to them. You understand?
Yeah,
so there's a disconnect. There's a lot of things that we could say that they're disconnecting in regards to our attitude and how we then create this mainframe that could able to now build. Now, let me be realistic here. Everything plays a part in regards to our music.
Yeah.
The fashion plays a part, which is our fashion. Film plays a part. Our food plays a part. You understand? So when we have a disconnect in regards to the sectors that exist within, right? And for instance, you're going to do a fashion show. Now, men knocking nobody here. You do a fashion show, but guess what? You're a hip hop playing. You're not calling a Tobago artist. Now, I just say, I just this case scenario. I'm not coming for nobody, right? Where do we then kind of like say, okay, you know what? Let we connect. So, for instance, like if I go on stage, right? I have no problem if by understanding that you're as a designer, clothing designer, you could be able to say, all right, well, let me do an outfit for Creed, right? How you're able to deliver that? Obviously, talk to Creed. Find out what Creed like, how he like to dress, whatever the case may be, and That could be your design. You understand? It comes from Tobago. You understand? So the thing is it now, are we, for us to really build something, are we saying, okay, continue to take, because we have been doing it for years. Take, but hey, you see what they do in America, you see what they do in Europe, you see what they do, and we always copying, to the point that we copy their own culture. Look how we just dress.
Say we fall into a culture where whatever we think that we supposed to have, it has to come from somewhere. We not true to our culture. We're not embracing. Remember, I said it's very hard for us to say that we have our own identity when we keep taking things from other people to implement as our own. So what we have, other people taking it.
Right, true. We see that happen with the pan.
Right? Other people taking it, and we have it right here. We have it first. It is ours, but we're not embracing it. And in order for people to embrace us, we have to show us, but we're not showing us. So as an artist, they want you to dress like Spice. So we just call a name. They want you to dress like because you singing that type of music. Okay, but is that your dress code? No. Is that how you see yourself or feel yourself? Because music is about the entire you, the whole you. The way you dress, the way you song, the way you talk, your props, everything. But if you want to mimic somebody else, what you're doing is dramatizing something on a platform. You're not giving yourself to the people.
Okay.
You're learning a part to play to become big in the industry, but you're not 100% authentically you. And that is what we are not doing as Tobagonians, embracing us. Because they would have people, producers, and all these people saying, all right, I'm working on your wardrobe, but in working on my wardrobe, sis, bro, ask me how I feeling, what I want to bring out, what I want to portray, how I think I should dress or whatever. And you kind of work around me with that. But don't come and tell me this is song you're singing, and then people just look so when they do that, so you had to look so, and you had to dress so, and it's supposed to change this so, and then you are no longer you. That's just my take on it.
So what? I tell you could go anywhere you want to go with it, you know. You have a lot of experience.
No, I was thinking about it. You know. So repeat the question again.
All right. So like, in dealing with the attitude, right? We're dealing with the attitude, and we're talking about. Let we look as Colin Joe said. Musically, we understand where the both negative and positive could tie into creating the music. Now we're talking about the fight down, and I want us to be real. We have a lot of fight down within this small square miles that we have called Tobago, right? This small square mile, you're spitting Charleville, you get wet in Crown Point. That's how small we are. When it comes to if you had to put it in the context of selling albums here to reach platinum, we only have 60,000 strong, or 60,000 plus strong. You not reached there yet. There is one venue one venue in some place somewhere.
Right.
You understand? That number, right? So when it comes to the fight down in this space, now we want to identify the problem, because I'm a believer in getting somewhere. We need to identify the problems that we are dealing with and see how we could be able to bring solutions to those problems. But nobody can come and say, okay, you know what, let me go and do this, and then when they go and do it now, Kashif called me, never to know, with the idea what Kashif doing, but are undermining Kashif. You understand?
Well, right. So first of all, let me start with the head of this thing. Let me ask a question. Do you believe that we have a music industry?
No. Trinidad might have a somewhat of industry,
Not even Trinidad.
but Tobago, none. Point blank, we don't have a music industry.
Right. So what are we fighting? Why are we
Exactly.
fighting
Okay.
if we don't even have that?
Well, you actually ask and answer your question. You ask and answer your question. You really and truly
No,
ask.
think about it. Think about it. What we fighting with?
What we
what
fighting
fight-
for?
yeah,
Exactly
what we
true.
fighting-
It should. It should.
What we fighting to get?
No,
Something
really. and
that
truly.
ain't even built or created. as
Nothing
yet.
and even yeah.
Nothing
so what we
even-
doing? What we doing?
What? And we fighting.
And here what? Tobago have plenty potential.
Exactly.
Oh, let me tell you why, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up playing
Mhm.
guitar.
Yeah.
Well, from what, the age of 15, 14, 15. And when I watch at the kind of people that have outside,
Mm-hmm.
the influence that people have around them, that making them great,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have the same influence. We
Mhm.
looking on at them on YouTube
Exactly. Exactly.
and trying to
Yes.
and learn what
Mhm.
they're doing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And for the things that we do down here,
Yeah.
without having the influence around us,
Yeah. Mhm.
is great.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
I could tell you, I'm telling you.
I
Yeah,
believe.
because we allow the creativity of our mind to work.
Exactly.
We have nothing to look at, to mimic from, not even a little thing. We
I'm
just-
watch me. I'm POB class.
Mm-hmm.
I will never forget this. I think it was a period right before lunch. I was in POB class and I was watching at shapes. I seen shapes in my head on the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher, Wilson,
Mm-hmm.
you're not here. I said, no, I'm not. I told him, I said, sir, I'm not here.
Mm-hmm.
He said, where are you?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I've seen a guitar in bed. So I feel like we need to create something,
Mm-hmm.
build out something.
Yeah.
First, we need foundation.
Yep.
It's like a house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you're building a house, you have to build a foundation.
Yes. Dig a trench.
And dig a trench.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
And come up. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that is our problem. And then we have other problems
Mhm.
where we have people at the head.
Mm-hmm.
People at the head.
Mm-hmm.
At the head of this whole.
Instead of what?
The head of what? Correct.
Mm-hmm.
But people at the head,
Mm-hmm.
they have a responsibility
Yeah.
and they have a part to play.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
In certain fields, there are things you need to know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we have a division of tourism, culture, whatever,
Right.
whatever,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there are things you need to know.
Yeah.
Right? You
Okay.
need to know about the culture, you need to know tourism, music, dance, performing arts.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
There
Yeah.
are things you need to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know how much an artist puts into getting ready for a show?
Oh. Well, I will never know.
I could guarantee it.
Things
I
you
could
need to know.
guarantee they don't know.
Wow.
You know why I say
Mm-hmm.
they don't know?
Mm-hmm.
Should I say it or should I not say
Now I
it?
say, man, we
Don't
don't give
a
a sip.
No. Is it like that? Or maybe some people just don't care.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
When an artist, Natalie might be able to,
Mm-hmm.
she might know about this.
Right.
Now, when Natalie had to get ready for
Mhm.
performance,
Right.
she might have a makeup artist.
Right.
She had to go and buy clothes.
Right.
What else Natalie
Yeah,
has?
hairstylist.
Hairstylist, right?
Mhm. Shoes.
Shoes, everything,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Nails.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot.
Yeah.
They do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I see what is being paid,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, so what am I really working for?
Yeah.
Like, what they really doing?
Okay. Okay.
And then I realize it's either they don't know
Mhm.
or they don't respect.
Mhm. So the question I got asked, based on what you're saying
A twist in the topic, eh?
there. Yeah. Now, but we on the line team
A
because we're
turn it-
talking
a
about
turn it around.
we're talking about the attitude, right? We're
Yeah.
talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the attitude, and it's a negative attitude at this point, at this juncture. Does it mean that there is a disconnect based on those who are, making the decisions, to the ones who are actually giving who are the product? If there's a disconnect,
Between those who are making the decision.
the decision, right? For instance, those who are hiring and we are the ones who are the product. We are the artists, the musicians. If there's a disconnect, because as I rightfully asked the question, I wonder if do they
Well-
know how much it takes for us to
Well-
get ready for a show?
The thing
Well-
is, those who making the decisions, though,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have much of an input into the workings of certain things because there's always somebody in the middle
Mm-hmm.
before you get to them.
True.
And the person in the middle, most times,
Mm-hmm.
they would know the
Mhm.
intricacies of what has to be done,
Right.
but it stops there
Mm-hmm.
because not all the nitty-gritty of all the inside information the last person
Mhm.
really gets.
Mm-hmm.
What
Okay.
they get basically is what they have to sign off on the information I give you that this is what was done and wherever,
Right.
and these what they need, and sometimes because they're busy, these people at the head, as you were saying, wherever the head is and the head of what,
Mm-hmm.
need to take the time to understand
Mm-hmm.
what it is
Mm-hmm.
that they signing off on, getting
Right.
into, or what
Mhm.
is the whole leading up to whatever it is, the end as to what they're supposed to do.
Right.
They need to get more on the ground, and even if they get on the ground, they just need to get the information because it will be taken for granted
Mm-hmm.
all the time. The amount of things that these artists have to do before they could come out there to show you that final product.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might even take a loan to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And when they get hoping to get the amount of money that they could say, I have to pay back this one
Mhm.
and pay back this one.
True.
But then the money
well,
when
we
I
still have
get,
to- happen a number of
but
times.
then that is the next issue.
Yeah.
First thing, you're supposed to know how much you're getting paid.
and it is and 10 to 1 year doing that
Right.
before.
No, but majority of the times, based on my experience, you are being told what you are getting.
Yeah, but sometimes you
Yeah, you are told what you are getting. In other
Listen.
words, like if I hire you, I telling you this is what you getting.
No, but they would ask
That
if
has
I
never been my
invoice though.
experience.
Well, you want a different.
Well, yeah, you you
No,
go
no, I think it's because I am being, well, how do I put this? There's a tendering process that
Right.
happens.
Mm-hmm.
that is for those who reach that.
Well, that is your
Level to be
No,
tendered.
well, remember,
well,
I'm doing a service. I'm doing a service.
Right.
for-
Right.
So normally there's a tendering process.
Right, so that is that right. But we are being hired. Right? If I'm the artist, I'm being hired. So the thing is it now, I
But-
don't have to tender. Who are you tendering against?
But
So
it,
therefore the problem is you.
the thing is, you're supposed
Well-
to give them your invoice if they ask
Exactly,
you.
if they
You
ask-
present, but the thing is, when they present your invoices because they're cutting it in half.
Half is joke.
No, well, you see, no. to be honest, well, I mean, I guess that is something that
Yeah.
needs to be dealt with,
Yeah.
and the only people to deal with that is you and the
Well,
person in
and in all
charge.
fairness, and all right, so
Right?
that brings me to this now. So the thing is, that I asked the question in the first place: if there's a disconnect between the ones who are hiring and the ones who are the talent, right?
Is there this? Well, maybe or maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
The ones in charge, do they know? Do they have any idea about how the
The workings
how
of
the
the whole-
workings
they
of
don't-
things as well?
They don't.
for
I-
artists?
Well, I can't say they
I
do.
can't say they do.
I can't see.
I guess Tobago too small to say
And
don't know.
I can't say they know either.
Yeah, I
True,
can't say
true,
that. I
we
can't say
can't
that.
see.
I can't say that.
Right?
I can't say that. I
So
can't say that.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. But
No, in when saying the thing, it comes to the understanding now in building out a framework or a mainframe, I should say, in regards to something that could be sustainable on the island. As we already established, right? We have the talent, right? There's no doubt about that. And we could have proven it over the last few, just last month, in regards to the Rhythm and Soul event, right? You would have seen how Tobago artists would have come out and they shine, right? And how our input is very much important. Now we have seen where now, on several, 1, 2, or 3 occasions, you would have seen, two other occasions would have been the same artist, which was Cartel, would have had us to postpone shows, right? And not and think the one, especially the most recent one, which is the one in Trinidad.
Right.
where he will pay 1.3 something million dollars, where he would have gotten at least 80% of the funds, and the latter party would have get to the community country, allegedly, right? Now you hear now that Trinidad and Tobago Promoters Association is saying, hey, hear what, we need to start evaluating this thing, because if we're selling this amount of money out of the country and not TT, US, right? 1.3 something million US for one artist. One. You're not talking about Sizzla money yet. You're not talking about Molly money yet. You're not talking about Chronics, not Chronics, the other Jamaican artist who came on the cast. You didn't talk about him money yet. Right? You didn't even talk about the infrastructure, the logistics of keeping the event, the ads, the marketing.
But look at that. We have association.
Yeah, I think Tobago have one too.
Tobago have one too?
I think Tobago have a promoters association.
You have any music association?
How come? We saying it like we ain't sure because we don't
No,
know.
I wasn't sure. I don't know anything
Well,
about
let's see.
that.
But that's what I'm saying, we don't know.
So there had to
Something
be
is wrong.
So there had to be a disconnect. So I'll answer my question, because the fact that all don't know that, it means that we really truly have a disconnect. And the thing is, it now, this spills over into again how we have been where we have been approached. That is one, and how we then approach the fraternity.
Right.
Right, and I got to call it a fraternity to know to this point now, because of the fact that we don't have an industry, right? I'm not doing music as a 8 to 4 and feed my family. I'm not doing that. None of us are doing that on the island right now, right? We are going according to if they call you, right? So
I think the information is not free, it's not fluent. Some of the information is not very, well, it could be accessible, but
Right.
it is not being said openly. There isn't much transparency in giving of some information.
right.
So, and people could only operate on the information that they have. So I think that can cause a serious breakdown in a
Breakdown.
lot of stuff. But the fact that we don't even know about this
Promoters association.
if
Yeah.
they have one in
I think you are one in
Tobago.
Tobago. Yeah, you are one in Tobago.
Yeah, but then that
Yeah.
says a lot for we are creatives though.
Yeah.
We should know
Yeah, we should
things
know.
like so.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
where is this information made available? We could go online and see it. We could,
I actually saw it on Facebook when they actually launched in Tobago. That was in 2020. Would have been after COVID. It was after COVID.
Well, look how
and
long
most
that
of
is.
them the surface around
Let
Carnival.
me
look how long.
let me be real.
Yeah.
Let me be real, because I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, don't give us sick, man.
Right? I'm disappointed in myself for not knowing that. I should have known that.
Yeah.
As a, you know what I mean? As somebody who could be hired by a promoter. Who
Right.
is
Yeah.
Usually hired by a
Yeah.
promoter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I should know that. These things I should know.
Yeah.
I said that to say that there are things that we need to know,
Yeah.
things that we need to do, there are things that we need to work on.
Yeah.
Right? And I said it last week. We don't put enough work into what we do.
Correct.
So therefore, we are demanding things and we're not giving what we demanded, what we want.
Okay. So we put in 50%, but we want 100.
We were
Right.
100.
Yeah.
Let me be real. I've been real here.
I agree with you. It can't happen. So.
Yeah.
It can't
I'm
happen,
doing
so.
an album for 8 years
Good
and I
Lord.
can't finish it yet because it's not where I want it to be.
Well, yeah, you
I
need
mean,
to
Uncle
go-
Andy tell me that
Yeah.
that's you know, like, Kashif just let out the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, I know that. No.
Gonna make sure that
You need to be
proper.
Somebody
great.
say, can it be an association if it's run privately? I don't
Wow.
know. I
Okay.
don't know. But
Just now, let me go down through the comments. Miss Andy is saying here, I grew up in an era when music was about healing and love. Too much music now is about hate and violence. That's one of the reasons healing is hard in the industry. Wow. That is true. That is
Word.
true. There's a okay, alright. Yo, Crystal, big up yourself. Big up if you want to hear the name of my song. Now I go get the name of that song.
they want to cuss bad way.
I know that was short. We copy the main frames that works and is successful, but with our own identity. And I agree with you. And we were saying that is that if we building out a framework in Tobago for Tobago orange economy, And here I said Tobago orange economy. It means that Tobago identity need to be present.
Yeah.
Right?
So that's what you're saying we should
Yeah,
do.
we should.
We
We
could-
should do.
yeah.
Right? Oh, Juby, big up yourself, Pasky. Where is he seen? Kalonji is also saying the challenge I see is a strong battle with self. Few of us are conscious enough to support one another. The attitude in terms of posturing ourselves for such, the issue is support and togetherness. And togetherness because we don't like to face that we are stubborn and clique type. Remember we was talking about that,
Yeah,
clique type
earlier.
people of shoot of slavery and introduction indoctrination. Now we was talking about that off air. We don't have a problem with race in Tobago. We have a problem with classism in Tobago. If you're not a part of this certain clique, you can rock here.
Yeah.
You understand? And I figure from when I come into the music scene, I find that it was too much a confusion for a little place like this. Too much a bacchanal for a place like this. We are too small.
Yeah.
You understand? We are too small. We cannot create an industry within Tobago where we can pay ourselves. It could never happen. The capacity too small for that to happen. So then the thing is it now, our approach, our attitude, as Kashi was saying last week, our work ethic. We don't like to go places on time. We was talking about that before we came in at. When we say at all, to if you realize, and for the technical team, everybody else who is set right now, everybody know that Tobago have a special time, but we just say Tobago time. I like?
No, that's true.
We have Tobago time. If it's something at the start 7 o'clock, right? And I'm talking about with attitude now, we're talking about cultural identity. If something at the start 7 o'clock, look what we turn into a tradition. Right? Well, that not going to start 7 o'clock. You know Tobago people is already like 7:30, that is 8 o'clock.
Yeah, some
You
people
understand?
I know past there, 6:30, and nothing else set
And
up
not-
yet.
exactly. So you have all those things happening within the space, then they expect productivity to be on a high. How?
Yeah, that is a big issue.
And that is a very,
Yes,
that in itself, look how small that is time.
Yeah.
And look how big it is at the same time.
I need people to be on this thing, on this,
Yeah.
because we have some issues we have to deal with. In order to
Yeah.
be great, it has some issues we have to deal with. And
Exactly.
we're gonna deal with them.
Exactly. So, Royce, you big up yourself. Kalonji say again, we build out a firm stance as to all the aspects as to who we are, and let that be the mantra for years. That be the mantra for years. Though the education system, through the music system, radio station, DJs, etc., we have ourselves, we give ourselves opportunity to build from inside out. It can start with our generation, but won't truly begin until much younger generations take it. I understand what you're saying. We was talking about that last week. In that we incorporate the medium as to how the Chinese does it. You realize in every single country, there's an Asian community, there's a Chinatown. It's just that Tobago Crown Point and turn it yet. No, in Trinidad they have a Chinatown. In Jamaica it have a Chinatown. Right? Guess what the Chinese do? They build their country from outside in. Half of the money they make in other countries, they send it back to their country. You understand? So we have to build up, we have to take the same method, the fact that we cannot, based on our creative sector, we have to then know, hear what? You find 10, 15 artists you know you could market today. Today. We're not talking about next 5 years. We know. Like no, excuse me. No. You could be able to push out that band, you could be able to push out that artist, then no. Their album, their music, their content, push them out. No. Guess what happened? You go out there, you send them out there, they make the money come back here. You understand? So the thing is it now, for things like these to work, as Kashi was saying, there's a give and take. Our attitude and our approach have to change. Right? Because we always have this, because Kashif doing it, boy, me ain't going there now, ain't going there. No, you know much things you had to deal with just by you doing that? No, if you put aside your ego, your pride, and you say, brother, take the thing, come to the brother. If all our qualms or whatever the case may be, say, hey, what? I know we do something in the past, but here, what? For the music, no, gosh, as I said that, this was an example with Cartel, right? And Cartel had a riff with another artist, and was Beanie Man, because there was battling as to who is the king of dancehall, right? And he said for the culture, hear this, you know, for the culture, listen carefully. For the culture. How much of us could come to our brother that, hey, I got you this and I face this with you, and whatever, but for the culture, for the music, for Tobago to shine, let we work together. Let we be real.
But Daryl, we doing all of this. Like, does Tobago accept us?
The question I got asked seriously is if we accept ourselves.
Oh gosh.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
If we decide, well, okay, correct. That's a good question.
If we accept ourselves.
That's a good question. That's the same question actually. Tobago accept us? You think that, okay, let me say, we put it down.
Watch it. If I watch on the chat, you see your colony say.
No, we put it down. We say, okay, all right. You know what?
Who's gatekeepers?
No.
No, he just said we have too much gatekeepers. I thought was that same thing.
No.
Nah, anyway, so I talking to somebody, child, right? And the person is telling me, oh, they need to work on the songs that all they're doing. And you know, sometimes people wouldn't take Tobago and serious and think whatever be the case,
Right.
because of the product or whatever be the case, which sometimes.
I need to understand. I find it.
You're holding back. I'm free.
I find it holding back. Talk the thing. We need to hear the thing.
And I didn't agree with the person because not everybody will like something.
Like truth.
Because I might like Derry Improve them well.
Yeah.
That's a big song for me.
Yeah. Big song.
Mary Jane, that's a big song for me. But
Big song.
right? But to somebody else, they might find to the average Joe. That's what I call them. The average Joe. They might find Blair. And really and truly, the average Joe is what is who actually gives the push.
No, it's true, you know. And we underestimate that. We truly underestimate that.
Repeat that.
The average Joe.
The average Joe, who is like, for example, okay, my wife is not musical. She's an average Joe to me.
Okay.
Right? So I would say that she ain't know nothing about music, she ain't thing whatever. So I believe that she's an average Joe.
Yeah.
And if she come and say, you know, I might really like prove them and she might be like, I don't like that stuff. Like, I'll be like, whoa, like, that is a real good song, but
Yeah.
she might not like it.
She might like it. Correct.
So sometimes, here why I realize, we just do music for us,
Yeah.
but we don't do music for the average Joe. That is one example. But then,
Wait. No,
Wait.
can't go down a road there.
we just
I listen.
The second
I listen.
headache, Kashi, if you want to put me on for the night.
no, we might do music for the average Joe, right? We might do music for us instead of the average Joe. But then again, sometimes you do music for the average Joe, but not every average Joe like it.
True.
Every
So who you
average
doing
Joe
music for?
different.
What is really selling music? I can't answer that. I don't know.
A
For me,
connection, you having a connection with your music.
I believe that was where I was going. I was going on that road there.
Because people music sometimes is their story,
Your story.
their life, and it's not only just making the music, but you have to make a conscious effort to make a connection with the people as well, because it's your Tobago people. And how would you do that? I would think some of the ways for doing that is doing like the underground.
I can name one.
Tell me.
Go outside, get big, and then you'll get big.
No, but we have been saying that for years.
Yeah,
Go
but,
outside
but
and get big.
But I totally
Name one-
agree with that,
name-
because that
name
has
one
been
person
that
who
has
get,
been
who
the
get
way
big
for
in
years.
Tobago. Name one person who
By
get big
Tobago
in
people,
By Tobago.
but I don't know, boy.
No, that ow. Ole wicked.
I can't answer
No,
that.
let me tell you why.
Ole wicked.
Our population is not big.
That is their one.
Yeah.
But still,
But do we have like artists in Tobago that is big in Tobago?
In Tobago, no.
You don't think so?
who is Tobago's biggest artist? So tell me.
Hey, Ole wicked.
Tobago have many great.
We have many good artists.
I
But
tell
we
you,
can't.
many good.
We don't reach big
many
yet.
great artists, but out of Tobago.
Oh,
Like, we and
You're not, yeah. It's, again, I think I might be wrong, but it might be a wrong idea to look at it that way. I asked my wife. I always believe in, since I started music, always believe in that I want to make it bigger first. I wanted always to look at that when I go out there, are sincere that are selling Tobago.
so you want to get big here and people know you're from here.
Here. So so for instance, if somebody outside had a look at my country,
They see you.
they see me. You understand? They see the support of the people. They hear the songs playing on the radio. They see that backing. And there are many other artists like me gonna tell you the same thing. Right? But because of again, as I said before, there's a disconnect. And let me kind of go back a little bit to come forward. Right? In the beginning, and we're talking about cultural identity, right? In the beginning, when I born 1984. So coming up now, through school and thing, you used to get jamboree in school and school fair and all that kind of stuff. So obviously calypso playing, they might get mass, look at different things within the culture into the school and thing. So I used to go home and ask me mommy, because I grew up in church, right? And Tobago have a strong religious influence, right? So because of that, I used to ask my mother, I say, why we do intervene, why we do, as a church, why we do intervene into culture? And the first thing is that it was demonized. It's devil. So when it comes to carnival, it's devil. When it comes to heritage, it's devil. When it comes to anything pertaining to our culture, except the food, it's devil. So that from since, that's how we know. So we had a disconnect in regards to our culture is concerned and our cultural identity is concerned. But guess what? Every single Saturday or Sunday morning, we're playing country music. Who culture is that? Texas, US. That's what we on?
Yeah.
You understand? So from the beginning, and again, as I said before, we have a strong religious. You must belong to some Anglican, some Baptist, some SDA. You must belong to some religion that would have demonized our culture, right? And then now, look at what we are trying to do now. We are trying to now have our culture harnessed in a way in which we could be able to pass on to our next generation. Hence why we have a lot of questions as to our identity as Tobagonians. As one artist said, as soon as a Trinbagonian get a passport, they don't even pass through customs yet. As soon as they get a visa, they don't pass through customs yet, they're talking Yankee. So even our language, we're disruptive in regards to we want somebody, we want to talk Yankee, we want to talk US, we want to talk European. You understand? Look like the one of the sisters who from a certain church used to come on the live, split Nigerian. I asked him, I said, where's she from? I said, she said, she not telling me she from right here.
Since the season of when we had a season when everybody was just strictly Nigerian.
Yeah.
She just take up that and she just go on with that.
So let me go through the comments a little bit more. Right? So Colonel said Tobago loves everyone else but ourselves. That's a harsh statement.
No, that is a harsh,
And
but
it's harsh, but it's the
it's
truth.
factual.
It's the truth.
It's factual.
We get more appreciation. We see that international artists or popular artists out of our view, have more recognition than we ourselves. Right? We blast reggae, hip hop, dancehall, and copy the lifestyles much more than our own. That is another truth. We have more foreign channels than local channels that have proper content. Our music isn't played as it should and promoted as it should be. Our just where we don't have departments from the government to assist. We don't have private companies that are set up, right? We have too much gatekeepers, and there's another thing too. We used to have a statement back in the day, when we used to talk about the cartel. And I used to really be vocal about that back in the day when it was Master's Mind, right? And I used to really be advocate when it was in the gospel.
Right, yeah.
And it wasn't just Master's Mind I used to advocate for. I used to advocate for just the talents within the gospel fraternity. And one time I ended up and do a live and I talk about the cartel. Now I know who I was talking about and who I was referencing to. Now, it might have ripple or cause a ripple effect as well as ruffle some feathers in regards to what I was talking about. But nobody never really stepped into the zone to say, you know what? Let me pick up based on what he's saying. Let me really dive into what he's saying. And guess what? Let me change the game. Let me pay the musicians what they would. So when Kashi, at the time when they were playing Master's Mind, with Master's Mind say, okay, they want $15,000, all right, let me play them what they would. Because look what we have now. We have international artists. I heard this statement, and let me put alleged for safety. An international Nigerian artist come here 3 times. She came here 3 times. All here she said, who I said who are talking about. She came here 3 times. She,
Right.
Nigerian. So let know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And every time I think it was the second time she came to Tobago, she said every time she'll come to Tobago, she goes back rich. So that means she's get paid her what? Or her acts. Right? So when we now here locally, we work in our craft. Look, I have seen night in, night out, sometimes musicians sleeping in band room and thing, and they had to spend their own money to buy food and thing to go through the night just to work out the same international artists and music.
Hey.
And guess what? They
So
can't
the
get paid their
thing-
wood. Right? So that was saying the disconnect and the attitude towards our people is off. It's real off. And we're taking advantage and for the people who have the powers that be are taking advantage, babe. If you correct, me not pay you. See?
Do we recognize that? Well, we know that a king have no honor in his own, in not really recognizing his own home. But if we realize what has been happening over the years, as it regards to persons coming from outside, and the kind of treatment and dignitary, what's the word I'm looking for? Official dignitary behaviors or attributes or
Right.
whatever that is given to these people that are coming to us. Of course, we are hosting, so we have to usher them and that kind of thing.
Hospitality.
No,
yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
we expect
We
that.
okay, we good at that. Tobagoans good at that.
But we who are here putting in the time, I mean, we had to be able to say that. If we aren't doing that, then look, I come and say nothing. Putting in your time, your efforts, you're doing your work as an artist, and you getting a 619, and you're accepting it. That's the first thing.
Can you relate to our experience?
The first thing is you're accepting it.
I think
Because if you wasn't accepting it, they might
well, the thing
try
about
to do
it,
better.
But before you think,
yeah, go ahead.
right? As I say, accepting it. Now, if I deny it, right? This is another problem we have. We're talking about the cultural
Yeah.
identity. We're talking about yes, this is a part of it. You come, and I charge. Let's say, for instance, I charge $10,000, right? Now, because now you want to beat me down, I say no. I have my band to pay. I have my background vocals to pay, and I pay myself.
Right.
Right?
Which is fair.
Right? I have rehearsals, so therefore I have to pay for the band room. So my price is incorporated into that. They say, no, I am paying that thing. You know what happened? The next artist, they go and ask, go on and charge less than that.
And they take
I go take all for $5,000. So then now when it comes to the market now, so even though I take a stand, trust me, I'm not getting that.
Yeah, but you know, some people could just take it because they get an opportunity, or if they wasn't getting no opportunity and they never had. Especially if
No,
they
we
never
can't
had.
look at that neither, because guess what? You're damaging the market.
Well, that is what I am saying. Because first of all, we accepting it, and it's some accepting it and some not. Then it could come a situation where some people could just be, I for want of a better word, taking the drugs, and these people who taking that, they will keep doing that all the time, and they're going to watch the others who put a standard or who put a whatever on themselves as what you trying to play. Wow. Because first of all, you're doing that where the money is concerned. Okay, fine. Let's show the money aside for now. You're in an event. Now, You can't find no place to sit down. You can't find no place to hang up your clothes. You have to go and beg for food, like if you're still up in harvest. You have no proper structure for people to come and say, well, okay, this is for you, but I'm talking about the disparity in how they treat or how they
treat
host
your own
other
people.
people.
Yeah.
I would have seen it's from AC to Mirror. If you're asking for a comb and a brush and perfume, it might be there too. But then it's food.
No
then you're
tents.
having hangers. Then you're having
No tents.
And we're for
Listen.
local people.
you're having covered space to
Yeah, it's like
so-
a home.
It's like you sit on a nice sofas and flowers
Nah,
and wherever.
create for you.
And as
Bucket.
for us who here, you have to go outside and beg somebody to bring a chair, or you have to find somebody to find out how I could get some food. Or
Bucket.
no AC inside. There's like, oh, you could get somebody to get a little fan or something. Now we could get some breeze or something. But you want us to represent you and put a full 100 when you go up there.
You know, let me just get comfortable, eh? No, seriously,
Where
like,
is he? From Mexico.
nah, you see that?
That is frustrating.
Nah, that is disrespect.
It is disrespect. It is disrespect.
That is disrespect. Now, there might be difficulties in getting certain stuff, right? But why is it that because why is out of everybody you get the messy end of
The
stick.
shitty end of the
shitty
stick.
end of the stick. I don't want to say it, I'm not sure if we have kids this year.
No.
Right? Yeah, but why is it that okay, so we can't do this here, so somebody had to suffer. Why is it always us?
Yeah. And that one's no, we only asking questions, right?
That was a question, I'm not saying
Yeah.
this is what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
No, let me be realistic here. Again, it comes down to how we approach our culture,
Right.
and how we preserve that. Now, if you disrespect me, if I'm represent, for instance, any artist, and it doesn't basically me, I just use me as an example because I don't want to call nobody name, right? If I'm Tobagonian and I'm representing Tobago, you call me to event to perform something, especially if it's an international stage. Who I'm representing, beside myself, who I'm representing? Not Tobago.
Correct.
I'm representing Tobago. So then now, if I'm representing Tobago, you're telling me you're disrespecting your own island, your own native land. So I'm saying it have to be some disconnect somewhere. Now, I like what Janelle say here. Janelle say here, too many important conversations take place without us as creatives. Our culture invites the who know who, right? So is it that I have to beg for a seat at our own table? I put in our own table.
Let me say something on that. Stick a pin right there. How many of us will sit at the table?
I would.
How many of us want to sit at the table? How many of us could do that at the same time?
At the same, yeah, it's true.
That is my problem with people. How many of us could do that at the
No,
same time?
where I think she's saying, where I think she coming from that, hey, if you want to design something for us, you have to hear from us.
Yeah.
Don't
And
design
I-
something and
I
then you
agree.
exclude us. And
I
then
agree.
now, you're telling we now, come in and be a part of it and whatever the case may
Right.
be. And then when a thing, you give you a wishy-washy thing. That's not what we
The
want.
people
But-
who sitting at the table who's supposed to advocate for us.
But you know, right? If all of us supposed to come together, right?
I know.
Wait, that's not. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Really
Let me
get
finish.
passionate in the
no,
corner.
It might have a twist to this. It might have a twist to this whole thing. If one of us, if one of us had to come together and say, you know what? First of all, how do you think it would be if all the creatives come in one space like this place right here,
Yeah.
and we come and trash out here and we talk? What do you think would happen?
Now you get bloodshed first
I
before you
get
get
fight.
peace. You get fight first.
Right.
You get bloodshed first
So
before you get peace.
right. So
Because
and I know that.
this because
Right.
we know. Don't let me behave. Don't
And then
behave
again-
like
Let's
you
think
don't.
positive.
And then again,
No,
and then
think positive
again,
after.
how many of us are all about self? You know, it at times I might have been in charge of something, and I try, and you know what I get for trying?
Man, you get licks.
Really? You know?
You get licks. You get licks. Trust, we know about that. We have
And
tried.
then there are people who are entitled,
Well, who
who feel entitled.
Lord.
Sorry.
Oh, God. You could call them?
I
Nah,
can't whistle.
I will
say.
never do that. I will not get me to do that tonight.
I can't
Tell you
whistle.
that much. Right? Many people who feel entitled and feel, a certain type of way.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's like you want to help everybody, But, at the end of the day, I realize you can't help everybody.
True. I know that, but again,
But you could put things in place, whereby everybody
that you could still could benefit. Exactly. Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Understood.
Exactly. All right. You have more comments there?
Yes.
Abby, blessed love. See Abby Taylor inside. Where is he seen? Big supporter. Alright, Kalonji said we ain't being real bears. Men want to eat a food right through instead of take a loss to make a meal later. No, no. We would have said this on many occasions.
Yeah, that's
Right?
it.
We have many occasions. Dream was talking about it actually. And you're saying we not eat a food society.
Yep.
You understand? No, I could come with an idea where everybody could eat a food. You understand? The person who gonna be in charge could eat a food. The artist could eat a food. The producer could eat a food. The fashion designer could eat a food. The set designer could eat a food. There's a place where everybody could able to fit, because guess what? The industry does not just strive on the music alone. You need those other components to be for it to make sense. Look alright, for instance, simple this thing here. Look with our language. For years, Desi from Charville have been talking about our patois. Have been talking about our language for years. This boy have been saying, why are we changing? We are moving away from our identity. One of the first things in the Bible, when God was dealing with the children of Babel, I always have said children of Babel, but the people and them who was trying to build the Tower of Babel, right? What you do? Confuse the tongue. So when you confuse the tongue, guess what? You change your identity. So when you change your tongue, you change your identity. Look at Jamaican, you will hear a Jamaican, see a Jamaican, know a Jamaican, wherever they are. Right? But every time, as I said before, as soon as we get a visa for Europe, we're talking Russian. You're from Russia? You're from Russia? I do not understand why we always moving away. Like it's like we don't have no pride in our country. And as soon as heritage come on, that's the only time we go see somewhat of a pride of our country. When Independence Day come on, that we have a somewhat of a pride for our country.
That's how we put it on as a show.
As a show.
It's not who we are. It's not our everyday.
This thing is frustrating. I like it. It is frustrating.
Our everyday living.
Because there are few of us who really want to see Tobago shine. If you realize, Rose, if you go on thing and they talk about Calypso, Rose come up. And you've seen all the accolades with Rose representing. It happened for us, enough.
But where did Calypso Rose get?
Well, he's not here,
established?
obviously.
Yeah,
Well, they're going back to that. He wasn't here. He's outside.
I was not gonna say.
So
Wait, boy,
I
we
wonder
get through.
I wonder why we can't get like that here, boy. Maybe because we do have an industry,
I'm not saying that, but we have to create one. The only way we create one, we have to take out the whole stupid ego out. The nata, this, me not talk to
You know,
he,
is that
whether-
part of this whole conversation give me a headache?
But-
The fact that we don't have none and whatever we think we have is real confusion and bacchanal.
Exactly.
That's giving me a serious headache. Trust.
We do not even have nothing. Nothing. We have nothing right now because none of us in this place right now, right, existing whereby we are working this thing here and getting a salary at the end of the month. We're not. So therefore, we need to create it. We have young artists coming up. Look. I don't say we need. Jada.
Yeah.
Look, Jada. Coming and reach, we still fighting.
Yeah, boy.
Jada was in
When we
Pampas.
said that
Jada was
make
in
me
the
wait
bedroom
for
running
she should
around
have
with
it
When she was in
now.
look, my daughters and them coming up, right? And same thing. So when we gonna get this right? Right? So the thing is it now, as I say, when we started off with this thing, we're talking about, the topic was basically design to culture. Therefore, our attitude, our negative attitude, our approach, our negative approach to this thing have to change. It have to change.
Now, Darryl, let me stick up in there. Now, I don't wanna compare, but I just have to do that.
Yeah.
Now, I watch at the people who make it.
Right.
Are they doing that 8 to 4? Or are they doing music full time?
Music full time. But the ones who are making it in
The
music.
people who make it,
Yeah.
it seem like they
It's
do it
music.
full time, yeah.
Because
But in order to do music here, in order to make it here, you have to do it.
Of course,
Of course, they're gonna die.
exactly.
definitely.
They will suffer.
They would suck
They're
salt.
They're gonna suck salt, and right?
Suffer.
So I thinking about it, and then, okay, so I am doing music full time. I mean, I used to work outside. So,
Yeah.
I'm now back home and doing music full time, and it could be frustrating. It is frustrating, actually. Right? And I don't want to come off topic, but the reasons why it could be frustrating is because the people sometimes you get like, okay, example, you have a gig. When it's time to get paid, you don't get paid 4 months after.
Yeah. Oh.
But then these people who are in charge of paying you, they have monthly salary.
Monthly salary.
Right?
Yeah.
So they're already. So
Them ain't feeling
them
nothing.
already feel nothing on. So
Yeah.
them already.
Yeah.
You get whenever thing whenever. Sometimes the government doesn't have money. The education doesn't have money. Go to empty.
I do not know.
Right.
That is what they say.
That is what they say. And maybe it's true, But I believe that things should be put in place. So when events, we know
Thank you.
jazz now done.
Right. Right.
Oh gosh, we know jazz now done. Right? But we can wait until next year.
Question.
Right.
As you ask that,
Right.
are you a part of the budget? In the first place? Because that's the question I need to ask.
I like where he going,
Because the international artist is guaranteed who they intend to bring. Like when they announce whoever they announce, or who they would have announced, he in the budget. They would have contacted agency
But
or whatever the case may be and whatnot.
I think they.
So-
So you trying to tell me that they always have a budget to frame out an event in terms of the infrastructure and the international artists and the food and the everything,
Yeah.
but as it comes to the artists,
Local artists.
that budget has to come
You're nothing.
a year
nothing.
after or 6 months after,
You are not-
because it's something that is continuously being done. And the
Exactly.
events are events that some of them you have annually.
Mhm.
So if you understand that last year we had a situation where we wasn't able to pay the artists and them on time, and we take a little long and wherever. Everybody just say, it's THA events and them things just take long. You had to have some patience where those things are concerned. But we had to have the patience. We who here had to have the patience.
Right.
Everybody else who they bring to come and perform and entertain the
Everything
people.
is to them. Cater
Straight
to them.
up.
Cater to them.
Straight up.
Yeah. Cater to them.
Something had to be wrong with
Yeah.
that.
Again, it comes down, as Kashi was saying before, it comes down to a disrespect. It was that disrespectful. Because
But
if
then again, do we know what we need to ask for?
I know I need to ask for. And correct. Well,
Like
I know I need
but-
to ask for
like
correct.
listen, right?
Explain.
There are no I think there are things I know I need to ask for.
Yeah.
Right? But then sometimes it happens late and then it never happens at all. So for example, like they may say Kashi Sunny rider. But there are different types of riders.
Yeah. The hospitality rider, there's
Hospi-
financial.
Correct.
There's
Hospitality is a big thing for me.
Right.
I don't feel like when I come I should be uncomfortable before I go on stage because to be honest, when doing local shows here, all are gonna vex with me now. To be honest, when doing local shows here, I'm uncomfortable on the stage. Right? Because I'm confuse me with here. Because most of some of the song engineers, which is the
Right.
biggest issue on the island,
Mm-hmm.
I'm never comfortable with the way I song.
Okay. Okay.
And I know it's not my playing, it's not what I'm
right.
playing.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Understand.
And sometimes you come and you get certain attitudes and things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just an overall issue.
It's
boy.
issue,
It-
yeah.
It's just,
Now
it's
tell
just
us.
an overall thing
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Is that you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know, listen, I'm not blaming
Mm-hmm.
just everybody else,
Mhm.
but myself. I'm blaming everybody.
Everybody. Yeah,
including
yeah,
me.
exactly. It's everybody. Because if again, it comes down to if we stand up for certain things, then when we're looking now, we tend to bring more of a change if everybody decides to stand. But because now I might be friend with the person who we might be standing against, right? I not gonna stand. And that is why you see when sorry to say this. That is why I do not have no political affiliations as an artist. I learned this in radio. A radio station cannot have any political affiliations. Whoever is the manager, he could have your own, who he affiliated with, but you have to keep that private. Because under telecommunication, you as a radio station can be steering,
Yeah.
the thing
The conversation.
Conversation,
Right.
right.
The island.
to that specific group or,
Yeah,
or,
yeah,
or
yeah,
party, right? Because here you see no, radio do have influence, right? Radio do have influence, and radio change culture. I see it happen already. So because of that idea and I think I say, see me, if I'm an artist and I come a day that I become an artist of influence, I cannot be political affiliated. The only way is if I had to do that is like how Bob Marley did it when he brought up the two political parties to shake hands when he did the big event in I think was in the Queensland, right? That is when he did that, So
Right.
when it comes to those what do you say, unwanted, right? Them unwanted conversations and them unwanted things. Again, it come back down to how big we are, right? We're not big. We little bit. You understand?
Yeah.
Check the comments.
Right. So Kalanji saying when certain artists get in the gates,
They
gatekeep to constantly make their own bread and not push the entire genre and or culture.
Actually, heard an artist mention that. Sarah, a big artist mentioned that. He said, "Why I should bring you on stage with me when I still continue fighting for the same space that I want to
Wow.
stay. I want to stay relevant. Why should I bring you to come and be more relevant than me?"
Oh,
So that we
gosh.
ain't going nowhere with that.
So you see.
Correct.
Right. So we ain't going nowhere with that.
No way.
So you see, I heard artists say, I thought I tell you, attitude.
But then again, create. We could touch us and as we talk about. Repeat what you just said.
Right.
Because I want to talk about the kind of music it has put out now.
Okay.
When certain artists get in, they gatekeep to
constant-
constantly make their own bread and not push the entire genre or culture.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
That's true. I was going to talk about
Sadly.
something different, but what you're saying there is real true. And that is just with mentality.
Again, mentality.
You know, the Chinese have this thing, they come, they open a supermarket. They
Wow.
let one man, they pour the money together and get a one man, you
Okay.
open a
Oh,
supermarket.
The Syrians does it too.
And listen, that is why you see them all over.
All over.
Right?
Mhm.
So when one do that,
Mm-hmm.
when he start to make it, he give that next one.
Exactly.
He open a holly over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then we find a
Mhm.
Zhongming down the road.
Exactly.
Kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
if we do the same and just don't get I wonder why we like that. Why we like that? I wonder where it start from.
Slavery. Is the black
I
man
know
still
you're
the
not
black man? No, it may sound jokingly, but it's serious. It's serious. For some reason, and this has been a conversation worldwide. Why every single culture, you're seeing togetherness, you're seeing the unity, you're seeing the building each other. But when it comes to black people in every single country, they're fighting one another. They're quick to pull on one another. I don't know if it's something within our DNA that causes us to operate the way we operate now. I do not know, right? But I'm saying that we time enough now for we to kind of like, all right, we understand. In other words, now we try a lifetime ago to this time to do everything in regards to pulling down one another. It didn't work.
But-
So why we can't try the positivity now to build one another? Let's see if the positivity of building one another could work now.
So, like I've seen something in my mind. Right?
Mm-hmm.
When I look at the different types of
Mhm.
music,
Yeah.
the different types of music
Mm-hmm.
each ethnicity put forth,
Right.
it kind of, when I look at it,
Mm-hmm.
it describes exactly who they are.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
So when I listen to music, I don't want to paint everybody with a broad
Mhm,
brush.
mhm, mhm,
Some of the music,
Mhm.
most of the music, black people like. It's always like, for example, I'm not bashing the
Mhm.
Jamaicans,
mhm, mhm,
but every time I hear a Jamaican talk, it's like most times it's about a fight dog.
mhm,
It's a
Mhm.
fight now,
Mhm.
fight dog,
mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Some is positive, most is positive,
Yeah. Mhm.
right? And then the black community, the
Mhm.
black Americans, there's always some gang, some
Yeah, so
fight,
yeah, fight
something.
again. Mhm.
And then we have the Trinidad movement.
Mhm, mhm. Fight down.
No, again, let me disclaimer.
Mhm,
I'm not bashing,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
But I grew up listening a certain type of music, listening
Yeah.
everything actually.
Mhm.
And right now I listen to everything.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I think that is, the reason why I do that is
Mhm.
because I don't listen to words.
Right. You look okay. Yeah. You looking for something.
I listen to music
Mhm,
now.
mhm, mhm.
But sometimes I play a song and I really like the music, but then I hear my daughter saying, shoot out a boy head back. And then that's when I say, hey, don't sing that.
Yeah.
Boom, and I tune it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm not conscious of what.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
because
music
you-
very powerful.
You listen for something different. Correct.
Right? So sometimes I feel like we need to watch what we put out.
Correct.
Because what we put out,
Mhm.
that is who we are.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, from that angle. Oh, I understand that. I understand that.
If you put on negativity,
Mhm. Mhm.
how you expect to be positive?
It's true. It's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
I ain't bashing nobody.
Yeah.
But it's just something for us to think about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, we need to
Yeah.
look at the lyrics. Because as me and Uncle Andy had this boy coming into the studio.
Mhm.
Yeah, Uncle Andy, you know, he from down in the village now.
Mhm.
He wanna do a little tune now.
Mhm.
So, right, waiting.
Mhm.
He inside there and he starts singing
Mhm.
where me come from and you know,
Mhm.
shooting out a boy head back. And you know, with the matic and all kind of, and I like, yo, we tell him here what?
Mhm.
Then we try something more, a little more positive
Yeah.
and check we back.
Mhm.
Because we don't want to put that kind of energy.
Mhm.
Now, that might be your lifestyle.
Yeah. Mhm.
But your lifestyle don't have to reflect on everybody else.
Mhm.
There might be the people that may be able to relate to it,
Mhm.
but we want to sell something different.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know what I mean?
I
And
understand. Huh?
that is one of my issues
Yeah.
with the new music. that we have.
Music that we have. Okay.
I know it could sell.
Yeah. It could.
It could
It could.
sell. I know it.
It could.
But we just need to tailor.
Yeah.
You know the words. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We shouldn't encourage
Mhm.
violence.
Violence. Yeah. Yeah, but we again. I'm gonna touch that. But let me touch this. Right, the comments. They're not saying here we can never truly be artists or musicians if we don't make it relatable to people, as he was right. That basically hinge on what you was talking about. Right? So if we only tapping into the violence to the violence, you know, a lot of people could get turned off of the violence very quick. Right? Now the thing is it now, one of the problems that could tie into that now is the radio stations. Because if the radio stations don't play the song, we are still heavily influenced by the radio station. You know, they say we could use Spotify, we could use Tidal and push songs to stream, we could use YouTube and Facebook and all of that. We say, yeah, but in our island, when it comes to Trinidad and Tobago, we are still heavily influenced by the radio station. So if the radio station still playing the violent music,
Okay, listen.
mm-hmm.
Dane,
Mm-hmm.
Then is correct.
Mm-hmm.
But the way in which you put across the music
Mm-hmm.
have a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
We don't want no raw version
Mm-hmm.
and no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just give it a clean version.
Mm-hmm. Right. Kalonji say, from YouTube, Audio Mac, etc., we don't have the Tobago voice music. That's ours. That's ours. That's ours. That we can thrive on and build out. But we was talking about that from since the that we need to start, putting some elements of Tobago to create a song, a Tobago song. So even though they sing reggae, because look, Tank and Bangers from New Orleans, them is like a jazz band, right? Well, you know New Orleans is heavily jazz, right? They do a different they do a different type of jazz. They more do a, like a story, like spoken word mixed with the jazz type of vibe, and take. But they put the elements of New Orleans in it. You understand? So you're hearing the New Orleans song in the even though it's jazz they're doing. So the same thing we could do. We could put the element of Tobago song.
Bro, if we
Yeah.
had to do that, if we had to do that, we had to have men that willing to understand that. Listen, these not just. You had to have tunnel vision.
Yeah.
These not just for right here.
Mm-hmm.
These for further along the road.
Further along the road,
And there was a little change, but
Mhm.
bro, we do have a little change.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe no, we do have
Yeah,
it. We do have
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Men do have no money
Mm-hmm.
to do anything, and when men
Yeah.
men come here 6,000 a sum.
Yeah. Yeah. Shoot it.
Let me read. In this time, what we should be doing is bartering
Mm-hmm. And to build the product.
and build the product.
Yeah. I believe that. Kalonji says soca and calypso are the two genres I know of TNT outside of heritage. We only get local, this is Dane saying, we only get local big due to content produced through our culture. That is Carnival. Other genres more than likely have to go outside. Even our big artists still have to leave our shores to really exploit their exposure. Abitila is saying, wow, I had this same convo yesterday. Right, nice. I feel like I didn't invite you, yes? Quaison J, big up yourself. You mean our own table, right? Nice. I think he was responding to somebody, right? Or he was responding to Janelle, right? Kalonji say, how many of us can say we are going to purchase a ticket that's deemed expensive for Adana Roberts? How many of us will pack a stadium to watch her sing? How many of us see, right, her on the TV screen or hear her voice on the radio? What music industry? DJs are a part of the problem. Radio stations are a part of the problem. The stands from the THA are a part of the problem. Brother man, you're brave and you're in life. You're brave and you're in life. You understand? You ain't lie at all. How can we try to standardize an industry that has little to no regulatory? That is Abitila saying that. So that is true.
Little to no.
Yeah. How can we try standardize an industry that has little to no regulatory? How can we regulate?
Yeah,
We talk about
We said that before.
yeah. Or regulations. Yeah, true. Yeah. That is true. So there's many factors.
We gotta dig a trend. We gotta start digging the trend.
We started dig,
We gotta
yeah,
start digging the
exactly. We
trend.
gotta start to dig the change.
So I hear in my THA, do your own thing.
Yeah.
Go down the road and do your own thing.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
I remember I started doing it.
Yeah.
I own my own shows. Do your
Yeah.
own thing.
Yeah, I
bro.
remember that.
Correct.
Was it when that was when the stadium they just was new?
And by the
When
way,
stadium was
let me
new.
plug
Then when they
in
bring
something here.
bring Isaac.
Let me plug in something here.
Mm.
I'm gonna do a show in Healing Garden in a few months to come.
He was like, oh well, we're on the same
So,
page.
so
Yeah. Do
yeah,
your own thing,
like
man.
the person who said that, they have a point,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a joint effort now.
Exactly.
We need to do the work.
Exactly. We need to do the work.
We need to do
Yeah.
the work. You know what I mean? So I need to know who made the comments.
Mhm.
Is the artist made the comments?
No, Abitila.
Abi.
Yeah.
No, the one before about THA.
Oh, that was Kalonji.
Right.
Kalonji. Yeah.
I work Kalonji with a show, so I could go and hear who Kalonji is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but Kalonji don't sing. Kalonji is a restaurant here. Yeah, businessman.
But he's not the.
Yeah, that is
Is that somebody
Kalonji.
named
that is-
Kalonji?
Yeah.
No, it's about artist.
Kalonji
named
James.
Kalonji.
Oh, that is Talaport. He
Is
was
that
one of
him?
the Chile bar artists.
No, but it's not him.
Oh.
But it's not him. but it's not him. Nah. Right? Kolonji also say we also body. Do we have to protect? Do we have to protect the interests of musicians and artists and promote them and sustain them? So you're talking about based on the general sense.
Right. Okay.
No, the only way that could happen again, what most artists are asking for, based on my years, is supporting them. And majority is not really financing them. I'm being honest, majority of the artists I hear talk.
Correct.
It's not the financial support they're looking for.
That's
Just you show up.
Just show up.
Just show up. You know, share my music online. You know, we on Facebook, we don't share a set of gossip. Right? You know, you're on YouTube, you just listen to my music on YouTube, so my numbers could go up now. You know, so the algorithm could reach me. You know? That is basically what most I hear artists talk about. Right? Then saying, can there be some kind of legislation created where only local music must be played during a particular time frame on all radio stations? Yo, I want you to convince how he named in regards to where that is concerned. That how he named that I know, right? I want you to convince him, right? Convince him where that is concerned. That in itself, he will play local music. Calypso. Strong on Calypso. I'm not saying he won't play other music, right? Because it do open the door for artists to come launch their music and things. But then there's a problem in regards to the programming structure that does not support the artists on the island. Alright? Based on my experience. Anytime 96, which is either Ojo or Red 96 or Boom Champions, if they make a song popular, then Tobago DJ is gonna take it up and then gonna say, hey, this song is a big song. So it's until them, which is Trinidad, of course, market say this is a big song, then
You know,
then that gonna happen.
You know, let me plug this in here.
Yeah. We'll continue. Yeah.
In the music life, right? In the music world. In the music world, you know, we often look at something like something have to be big in Trinidad for it to be here. That don't have to be.
No, we could make it bigger.
That don't have to be, because I look at, you know, we have some great musicians in Tobago. I ain't asking you. I ain't saying it. Do you know that? Do you know that, right? So I believe that sometimes we just watch down there for, you know, like, if you ain't do down there, we ain't make it. But hey, they watching at us, and they know that we are great. And I'm not going to say greater than it. But they know we are great. Right?
Kolonji comment linked to Abby comment. So I'm going to read Abby comment, sorry. She said, why don't we have a creative cooperative? Like, obviously. And actually, that way we see what we're talking about. A creative cooperative. So the creatives have a cooperative.
Cooperative? Yeah. Cooperate.
Yeah, well,
being the operating. Exactly, cooperating.
Yeah, the cooperate, right? So all the comments and them coming in fast and furious.
That is a mentality, eh?
So
having to cooperate.
Yeah. It's a mentality.
And you have to. It's like again, it's like a reiterating here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we decide that we're pushing one man, we're pushing one man.
Yeah.
You know, we have to cooperate.
And they asking here, so we just skip through the comments, eh? And he's asking here, is the late payment for local artists part of our culture? The same thing happens when we reach 60. It's a part of us, or it's a part of us. That's what I say. Now, you know, there's a number of things.
But that is respectful.
You know, a number of things that we were seeing here. We don't accept ourselves, brother Creed. Slavery and indoctrination. Yeah, that should. We don't accept ourselves.
Creed. Yeah. If they're paying an artist when they're here, why they can't, before they even come half done, why they can't do that for?
Yeah, but I don't know. I
don't know either. I asking it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And I don't know myself. I do not know why we always been overlooked.
Oh, can you know?
Right. When 80%, like for what Cartel have, Cartel more than 80% of his down payment was already paid before he gets into the island. And that was in 900 and something thousand US.
We ain't serious.
Well, I believe they and look at us as serious. And then we ourselves are not serious. You understand? So
You know, when it's, you know, but as I said it before, I might say, you know what? Me and do no gigs again until they pay me half before and half
want
on
to
the
take a risk there? Knowing our culture? How we think?
No, well, it's not really a risk, you know, for me. You
They
know.
already owe you the money there.
No,
That's what I say.
No, it's
Or they
not really
hire
a-
you?
It's not really a risk for me. You know. no, I'm telling you, I know, right? So if I, no, I'm just saying, if I decide to do that,
They're gonna pay.
they're gonna, no, they're gonna call somebody else.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but if
But
it
then
is,
we might be the same people that saying, let's stand up and do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then when I say, okay, I'm going to stand up and do it. And when I do it, say, no, you know what? All right, let me call this one here. The same one who said that we stand up and do it.
Oh, yeah, that happened already.
Yes, I'm not the best.
Yeah, that happened already.
Well,
Happened already. Yeah, I see that happened already.
Exactly. So
Because
I-
you want to
but-
say they're gonna call you, they're gonna call somebody else.
Yeah.
10 to 1, now we said they ain't even calling somebody else from here. They're calling somebody else who had a plane ticket, accommodation,
Yeah.
and all them kind of
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So we definitely have a problem. We have an attitude problem and an attitude adjustment to me. Right? Guys, it was nice. Now let's pull the mic to you. Right, guys, it was nice. It
Yes,
was wonderful.
indeed.
We cannot go over with time already.
Yeah.
And this topic is very extensive. Right? And we have a lot to do in regards, and I said do, not just say.
Yes.
We have a lot to do in regards to building the creative or the creative economy that's gonna connect to our culture. Because
Yeah.
I cannot see us selling Tobago artist music and not sell the culture.
Yeah, correct.
You understand? It go hand in hand. And
Yes.
we to the powers that be, you know, I like all you coming on the live. I appreciate you all coming on the live.
Yes, because
I
we don't
want,
just
you
want
know,
to sit
yeah,
and just, as they
make-
say, below
yeah,
the issues and the problems.
And to be honest, some of these people that are on the live, they should be invited here.
Yeah,
Yes.
nah, we want them to come. We want them to come. We want to come.
Definitely.
You want to come? We gotta reach out to them because guess what? We want this conversation to end up and reach on an executive level.
Yeah,
You
these
understand?
are all inclusive. Nobody can sit there and get the opportunity.
Yeah,
we want everybody.
yeah. Because at the end of the day, if we really want to invest in Tobago, we have to invest in the people, not the
Yes.
building. I don't know why people just think that building is progress. You understand? I don't know why people thinking that paving a road, well, progress must be progress in infrastructure. Must be that progress in
Well, there are different
infrastructure.
types-
But at
different
the
kinds
end
of
of the
progress.
day, if you do not have the people,
Yeah.
how the infrastructure go
Yeah,
survive?
if we don't have the people, we don't have anything at all.
I gotta leave you with this. My father tell me, my father is a builder. And he said, if you build a house and they don't have nobody living there, it deteriorates faster than if somebody was living inside it. I didn't himself know that. He said your perspiration is what does preserve your building. I didn't himself know that. When he tell me that, I said, what are you talking about? He said, yes, when you're living there, your perspiration,
Meaning when they clean it.
your pumps,
Yeah, me.
your body odor, everything. Yeah. You notice when you're in your house, you just do less renovation than if you're not living in there.
Well, of course.
Build a
because
house and
you're
don't live
in
inside
there,
and go smoke on.
you're cleaning and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, obviously, I don't know if he's joking, he was making that what the man tell me. The man said when your pumps and your perspire, it does preserve the I don't know. It does preserve the building. The man is a builder, he may take it from where he say. But you know what he's
Well,
talking
anything that is left stagnant and have no kind of thing,
Exactly.
it would
about.
deteriorate.
It would deteriorate.
So I guess that
So
in
that is
that
why
sense,
we want to be moving. So
yeah.
but for those who was asking, we want to meet the individuals so we could be able to have the conversation so we can build out the framework to make the industry. And the ideas that we have so far is very good. I just want to get a listening ear to the powers that be. Right? Everybody gonna eat a food. If you want to eat a food society, the design, the
That's what you
framework
want.
is designed for everybody to eat a food.
Eat a food, then that what you want.
But basically, that's how society is to eat a
boy,
food.
that song,
I am
yeah.
not. It's so
That song,
peasant.
I,
big wish, boy.
yes, and I know we're closing up, but Kashif, I know we would have introduced you, but it's okay for you to introduce yourself because someone told me they're listening to the whole show, but they don't know the other gentleman
Okay.
who is on the show. So
That
you
But I
could-
didn't introduce him in the early,
Nah,
but they must come late.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
No audio.
No, she said she listened to the whole show, so in the beginning she probably would not have heard
To
it.
miss.
Audio,
Okay,
the audio.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other gentleman that we have on here right now on the podcast is Kashif Wilson. He's one of the main guitarists, musician on the island, right? And I must say one of the top. Yeah. Anytime I talk about guitar, that is the first person I will look for, right? In every single area. And again, we have a problem with that is concerned. How come you don't know he? You catch where I'm coming from? I
So
did
it
I
says
did a
Kashif Wilson.
yeah, I did a survey with that with positive. Yeah, in the schools when we was doing school tour, and people didn't know positive. They only didn't know was Never Let Go. When we play his whole album, we actually mix his whole album, and they said, but we don't know that. And I'm saying, so you don't know positive? You say, yeah, we know Never Let Go. You say, but you know you have an album, you have albums, right? I said, but no, when they hear the dancehall and them thing they from, they say, what positive does sing dancehall? And that's what that was shocked me, that as small as we are, people are not in tune. So the thing is it now for them to get in tune, what we need to do, as the rightfully say, as how Kashif doing his pocket event, we're going to support it.
Yeah.
Everybody tweet about it. Well, we don't Twitter again, but everybody post it on Facebook,
Instagram,
Instagram, you
Facebook,
do your stuff.
WhatsApp.
You understand? We're going to support it. If Creed doing a local show, which I coming out, I go as he put a
Again.
plug, I put a plug. I go and do my shows again, right? I just waiting for some stuff. All of come support it. All
Yeah.
we just need is eyes on us.
Yeah, we need to do
You
that.
understand?
We need to
Eyes
do
on
that.
us. Yeah, we need to start doing
Let's
that.
do it a short because in Tobago, but Tobago nothing going on.
Yeah.
Entertainment wise.
Entertainment
Yeah.
wise. We just have to wait.
And if we want people to really know who we are,
Yeah. We have to go and
we
face
come out
them.
and just do our show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we hope that these service providers could,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we hope that these service providers could actually
Mm-hmm.
contribute.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So we said now the invitation for the heads, right? The heads that on the executive level who could able to make those decisions. Hey, give us a meet now. Give us a meet. We want to sit down and talk with all. We have a framework. Honestly, we do have a framework. We're just waiting for a meeting. We have been knocking on some doors and we're still waiting. You understand? We're still waiting. So if we be able to get a sit down and we just show it to you all and you all execute it. We don't want to run it because I cannot be on the table or
Yes.
at the table and still work on my craft. I'm not
Yeah.
doing that. I'm not going through that. I don't want to be on no executive. I don't want to be on no board. I don't want to be nothing. I want to work on my music. But we have the idea. And the best way you could be able to do is take it from the artist. You understand? Take it from the artist, take it from the musician. Right? And everything gonna fall into line. The fashion designer's gonna come in good. The set designer's gonna come in. Everybody gonna come in. The band room manager's gonna get a part of that. Everybody gonna be a part of that. Alright, so guys, again, thank you all for being a part of the conversation. Thanks to the technical team. Thanks to Mr. Andy, ABW Media, Signature Media Plus. Right? This is home, this is where we function, and this is where we live. So guys, till we meet again, we're gonna continue the discussion next week. Right? I don't know if Kashif gonna be here next week, but we have some new guests supposed to come in from next week. Right? I don't know if because of who might come, he might come back because he might want to challenge them. But
No.
I don't know. But it is what it is. It's all for good.
Yeah.
No, challenge is good. Challenge is good. It's just that we want to do better on the island. We want to do better. We're not for the fight, we're not for the quarrel, we're not for the war. We're all about solutions.
Yeah.
Alright, so guys, blessed love and
Love and
night.
light.
Until we see you again. Yeah.